Testosterone functions as a man's primary biological drive. It dictates daily energy levels, mental focus, and the underlying motivation to pursue goals. In an optimized system, these levels remain robust. When they drop, the clarity and drive of a man's life begin to fade. Across the modern population, those levels are fading. Data mapping male hormone levels over the last few decades reveals an aggressive downward trend. A 30-year-old man today operates on significantly less testosterone than a man of the same age in the 1980s. This vintage portrait represents the baseline biological profile of the previous generation. They occupied a different hormonal landscape than the one men navigate today. Common explanations often cite normal aging, office-related stress, or general sedentary behavior. However, these factors fail to account for a systemic, population-wide collapse in male endocrinology occurring over a single generation. Recent clinical trials of the University of Copenhagen investigated the specific impact of modern diets on the male body. Their findings, published in the journal Cell Metabolism, identified a clear disruption in hormonal signaling. The study used fit, healthy men in their 20s and 30s, dividing them into two groups. One group consumed whole, natural foods, while the other consumed a diet of ultra-processed items. Crucially, the researchers matched the caloric intake for both groups, ensuring the only variable was the food source itself. Within 3 weeks, the data showed a stark divergence. The men on the ultra-processed diet experienced a measurable decline in testosterone, worsened cholesterol markers, and a drop in sperm quality. These results point to a biological breakdown. Since the energy intake remained identical across both groups, the degradation suggests a mechanism within the processed food itself is causing the male endocrine system to fail. The first system glitch involves the physical delivery of our food. Ultra-processed meals and frozen snacks rely heavily on plastic packaging, which contains chemical compounds known as phthalates. Through a process called leaching, these phthalates migrate from the plastic packaging directly into the food matrix before consumption. In a healthy system, testosterone travels the bloodstream, binding to androgen receptors to maintain muscle and energy. But phthalates act as endocrine disruptors, mimicking estrogen to physically block these sites, effectively jamming the signal. According to the CDC, nearly 100% of the U.S. population carries measurable levels of these compounds. Ultra-processed food functions as a delivery system, introducing hormone-disrupting chemicals directly into the male hormonal network. The second glitch is resource depletion. The endocrine system operates like a manufacturing plant, requiring specific raw materials to synthesize hormones. Processing often strips food of foundational minerals like zinc and magnesium. A diet based on these processed items starves the biological machine of the critical building blocks it needs for testosterone production. This leads to the final system failure, the sabotage loop. Clinical data indicates that ultra-processed diets trigger the body to store more adipose tissue, or body fat, compared to whole food diets, even when calories are matched. This excess fat is biologically active. Through a process called aromatization, it captures the body's remaining testosterone and converts it directly into estrogen. This creates a triple threat. The body lacks the nutrients, plastics block the cellular signals, and excess fat converts the rest. The Copenhagen trials also revealed a path to recovery. The male hormonal system is remarkably resilient. When the subjects switched back to whole foods, the damage began to reverse in only 21 days. Correcting these glitches requires a 4-step protocol. First, reduce chemical exposure by choosing loose produce and glass storage over the heavy plastic packaging typical of processed styles. Second, avoid microwaving food while it remains in plastic. Heat exponentially increases the rate at which chemical hackers leaching into the meal. Third, use a crowd-out strategy. By prioritizing whole foods like fruit or eggs at the start of a meal, you naturally displace processed items without relying on willpower alone. Finally, restock the system's raw materials. Focus on nutrient-dense sources of zinc and magnesium, such as pumpkin seeds, quality red meat, and fresh spinach, to provide the plant with the building blocks it needs. Modern health challenges for men are often a result of running a complex biological machine on compromised fuel. Upgrading those inputs allows the system to reboot, reclaiming its natural drive and energy.